What is everybody back? Thanksgiving break over. We're back. Sunday night, big live. Well, title says it all. Idaho4, I'm officially suing Moscow Police Department. We have to sue Moscow Police Department. Why, you ask? Well, because transparency is a very important thing. And I don't know about you guys, but you just can't redact the word the or Sigma Chi or friend or, I mean, these redactions are ridiculous. Charging for your time to do what exactly? I have to look over this recording to see what I need to redact. Lawyers need to look over body cam footage. Lawyers need to look at, I mean, what? Welcome. Good evening, everybody. So I want to show you guys a video. I've been lurking around because we're going to make a move. We have no choice but to make a move. I mean, where's the media coalition? Where's mainstream media? Okay. In any other case, like, for example, I don't know, Alec Murdoch, I don't know, blew his kid's head off. I don't know, blew his wife to bits, 5 shots, right? Why did the media didn't stop? The media didn't stop. They went and still got, like, I don't know, body cam, but I mean, they were trying to get their hands on whatever they could, right? Well, where's the media? Where's the media with the Idaho4 case? And hey, there's so much information out there because, you know, there wasn't a trial, right? Where's the media? Well, I want to show you guys something. So a channel that I will pop into and check out is the civil rights lawyer. Yes, the civil rights lawyer. Boom, there you go. Now check this out. 4 months ago, he posted, Captain, it was, the title is Police Captain Caught by FBI Staging Innocent CEO's Arrest for Social Media. And I was like, what the fuck? This is wild, right? Take a look.
Has always turned over records to the FBI upon request.
David Brukowitz was a big deal in Nye County.
Okay, here we go. Now, ready?
The Nye County Sheriff's Office can confirm that the FBI executed a search warrant on our agency yesterday. Although a warrant was not necessary because Sheriff Sharon Worley has always turned over records to the FBI upon request.
David Brukowitz was a big deal in Nye County, Nevada. A captain in the sheriff's office, he was the face of law enforcement in Pahrump, Nevada, showing up on the news, on social media, and even on police reality shows.
He was continuing to reach in his waistband.
Put your hands in the air, both of them! Keep them over your head!
And it turned out he was just in pain, and so he was reaching for his legs.
But behind the badge, a darker story was brewing. In 2019, Brukowitz arrested Angela Evans, the CEO of a local power company, accusing her of embezzling services by moving a power pole on her own property. Sounds legit, right? Wrong. Court documents later showed that Evans didn't even own the property when the pole was moved, and that it was a complete lie. The charges were dropped, but the damage was done.
And this is tonight's mugshot of Angela Evans.
Evans lost her job, and she ended up suing Brukowitz and Nye County. Why did he do it? Believe it or not, he was a part of a scheme, a conspiracy to oust this woman as CEO of this company for his own personal reasons and also to help a co-conspirator who was a disgruntled employee of that company who himself wanted that woman's job as CEO. But it gets worse. To push that conspiracy, that scheme, Brukowitz posted false press releases on the sheriff's Facebook page and YouTube channel claiming that her arrest was legit and court approved.
CEO Angela Evans was placed under arrest. She was booked into the Nye County Detention Center and charged with embezzlement.
But fortunately, he got caught, right?
A Nye County Sheriff's captain was arrested and indicted in federal court in Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, he did get caught. He ended up pleading guilty. He's now a convicted felon. But despite abusing his position of trust in law enforcement, he ended up not serving a single day in jail.
No prison time and 3 years probation for former police captain David Berukowitz.
Let's go through it, and you are not going to believe it.
Public records show he's still receiving PERS retirement benefits totaling about $72,000 a year.
The scheme was hatched in a meeting that occurred on February 15th, 2019.
You guys, this is wild. Absolutely wild. But I kind of got a little idea when I was watching and looking through. I was just doing some research because it's like, here, we have these public requests. I don't care if there's one person working behind the scenes to make these requests pop. I don't care if there's 2 people, 3 people. I do not care. The redactions that are happening are absolutely unbelievable. There's no word for it. Unprecedented. How about that? Unprecedented. And then I'm just like, well, this can't, like, so I was just like, let me put some feelers out there. Hey, let me talk to some people that actually, I don't know what they're talking about. And I was showing them, taking pictures of, I don't know, all the reports that we were given. I was taking pictures of quotes that we were given for monetary, like, here, this is how much you're going to have to pay for this. And it's like, we don't even know what we're getting. They want half the money up front, then they want the other half upon. We've, again, no idea when we're getting it, even though now I paid in complete full for some stuff. It's just absolutely crazy. And I've never had to do this before, ever. And what I was told, in like verbatim in quotes, get a good lawyer and Moscow's fucked.
Between Captain Berukowitz and this guy, Ken Johnson, who was a former officer of Valley Electric Association, this power company, VEA. That meeting culminated 11 days later with Captain Berukowitz and his sheriff's department arresting Angela Evans, after which the co-conspirator, the former officer Ken Johnson, would be interviewed by the TV news and then blasted out to the community.
Tonight, an arrest at Valley Electric after the investigation into a cover-up leads to embezzlement charges for the CEO.
The video that you are watching is body camera video of her arrest. And this is tonight's mugshot of Angela Evans. She's charged with embezzlement for using company money to pay for work at her home.
Okay, so think about this. If this was back in the day, they had this body cam, right? Clearly, they could have been like, hey, under no circumstances can you give out that body cam. Because this is like, it's going to out, like, we don't want to bring attention to this. Get rid of that body cam. If they got this body cam released as is, like they did, how in the world can we not get body cam or interviews or reports? I mean, the redactions, you don't even know what the report says. And actually, it's bringing on way more like misinformation than you could ever imagine, because people are guessing on what the documents say. And everybody's acting like we don't know where anything is. Moscow Police Department's like, I have to go locate that. Then they tell me, okay, they found it. It's a fucking piece of paper that's the goddamn dog being at the shelter. Why can't I get my piece of paper again? Oh, because 5 people are in front of me. 5 people are in front of me for what? What the fuck? That's like saying my cheeseburger is ready to be picked up at McDonald's, but I have 5 people who ordered, I don't know, special meals, and we're just going to wait. I'm going to sit in line and wait behind them. No, pull up your fucking car and sit over there, and you're going to hand me my piece of paper that I already paid for. You've already found it. You located it. And why aren't I getting sent this one piece of paper? Like, explain to me that logistically. You can't. And I'm going to have your asses all on a fucking platter.
arrest comes as the Nye County Sheriff's Office digs deeper into claims that a rate hike was used to keep a sexual misconduct case quiet.
Denise and Christiane, 8 News Now first broke this story. A source told police that Evans made Valley Electric employees move.
I want to break a story that Moscow Police Department is literally extorting public requests. They're extorting. How is this not extortion? They're extorting me. And now guess what I'm going to do? Guess what I get to do now? I'm going to be able to see all of this shit unredacted because I'm demanding to see it unredacted and I'm flying out to fucking Idaho to do it. I want to see all of this shit unredacted because now you have to prove that your redactions are actually legit. So let's fuck. Right? Turtle Boy, let's fuck.
Her power lines underground at her home here in Pahrump last April, but police say she didn't pay for it. Valley Electric did.
On Friday, the Nye County Sheriff's Department raids the VEA facility with a search warrant. 24 hours later, there's an arrogant denial of how in the world could you say anything is going on. They didn't take it seriously. They didn't initiate their own internal investigation. And then we get this tonight, and it shows a clear failure on the part of the board to do their duty for the members.
After that media report, Berukowitz and Johnson celebrated the successful execution of their scheme when several board members resigned under the ensuing public pressure after Miss Evans was arrested.
This board could not have done things more wrong to get people this mad if they had tried.
Berukowitz texted Johnson saying that was the plan. Resignations is better than recall. And when Evans ended up being fired, Berukowitz was jubilant, exclaiming, "Winner, winner, chicken dinner." But why did they do it? Berukowitz and Johnson.
So let's get this straight. Bill Thompson thinks that we're going to do a plea deal and then we're going to be able to bury everything that happened in this case because then we're just not going to give out the information because in a trial it would have all come out. But here, plea deal, we bury it all. That's not fucking happening. Okay. It's not happening. There's things that I know that I've covered on this case, on this channel, and I have specific things that I want to put out to validate what has been said on this channel. Okay. And I want 100,000% validation. I don't want 99. So the 100 comes when you Moscow Police Department, you act like when you come out and you said like, hey, we're just putting out our reports and you're going to have to go talk to Idaho state, or you're going to have to go talk to the feds. You're going to have to do this. Blah, blah, blah. No. Fuck all that. We're going to do a lot of things differently now. A lot of things differently. Yeah. Where's the media again? Where's mainstream media? They're supposed to be the people on top of the fact to say, hey, we want to make sure that the government isn't fucking us. And so you're not supposed to cover for the government. You're supposed to open up the book and take a peek inside and to make sure that I's are dotted, T's are crossed. Not, Bill Thompson wants us to go away. And so a plea deal happened at the last minute. Speaking of the Alec Murdaugh case, by the way, people need to go listen to what the housekeeper, Blanca, what she has to say, and basically saying that there wasn't just one person there. There was multiple people there, and she lays out all these little clues as to why she believes this, and it is fucking compelling. Absolutely compelling. Like, literally compelling.
Both had reasons to be angry with VEA's management. Berukowitz was furious because VEA had announced an increase in the price of electricity for the first time in 10 years. And as a VEA customer, known as owner members because VEA is an electric utility cooperative, he took this price increase personally. For his part, I'm
taking my FOIA prices personally.
Johnson had competed for VEA's CEO position before Angela Evans was hired for the position, and he blamed VEA's board and Evans for being passed over for the CEO position and eventually being forced out of the company.
I also want to call out and make sure that people aren't putting in bogus requests that are that live in Idaho or live in Moscow, okay? Because their requests are handled within 3 days, and our requests are handled within 21 days. So we're going to do a lot of digging, okay? I want names of every single person, or I want the filings of every single person that's asked for a public request since the case is closed. I want the dates, the timestamps, and I want the turnaround for all of it. I want all of the money that has come in, has been paid in to date. I want all the down payments. I want everything that's paid up in full. And I want to see if people are clogging on purpose and putting in these FOIA requests, and if it could potentially be actually government workers doing it to impede me and you from getting material. Like I said, let's go.
After leaving VEA, Johnson formed VEA.
I look at Norfolk County District Attorney's Office as corrupt and dirty as fuck. I look at Idaho as a complete fucking dumpster fire. Okay. If you don't think for a second that they would do things like that, there's the door. Yes, they would. If you don't think for a second that Ashley Jennings doesn't have her hand, or Bill Thompson and their little fucking criminal brains, okay? Oh, yes, they do. I want to know why only one person would be working on FOIA requests. I want to know why during the midst of a manhunt, I was able to get my hand on, I was filling out FOIA requests, public requests left and right during a manhunt because Brian Kober wasn't caught yet. And I was getting my requests like that when they were, busy, investigating a quadruple homicide and everybody was working, right? So much so that I got my hands on the fucking videos where I actually show the victims unredacted. Their faces weren't fucking blurred. Were they? No, they weren't. Where's the bedroom of Bethany Funk? Where's the bedroom of Dylan Mortensen? Where's the spare bedroom? Where is every single fucking picture that I have requested to be the way that you put them out there with these black blobs in the body cams that you charged us for, that are fucking look like, a 1990s version of something that was skipping. You do know that you're giving me that body cam. Take all that stuff that's the heavy redacted shit out of there. I have FOIAs that haven't even been responded to. And they think that, well, I have so many days. No, you may say that you have 21 days to get to my shit. But you think you have 21 days to just respond to me? Yeah. You think you're going to send your automated, hey, we received your fucking request? No. There's statutes for a reason, and you guys are violating your own fucking statutes. So you want to fucking play? Let's play.
VEA Members for Change, a group which he described as a grassroots organization dedicated to ousting the VEA board of directors through a recall election. Berukowitz and Johnson used the public anger about the proposed rate increase as a means to pursue their personal vendettas and to galvanize support for the VEA MC-sponsored recall election, which would lead to replacing Evans and the board of directors. During their initial clandestine meeting at a park on February 15th, 2019, Berukowitz
I believe that they have a scheme right now going on with all the public requests. Okay? And again, that's my take on it. It is literally November 30th, okay, there was a motherfucking plea deal in July, okay? This case was ran so tight, like Ferris Bueller's asshole, okay, that Judge Hippler made both sides file all this shit so ridiculous, right? There was no loose, hey, file it all, you got to get it in there. It's all been filed. All of this stuff is organized. My requests are for a second grader could go and find this, okay? And to the point that no time, like the bare minimum, I mean, I'm giving you an absolute blueprint to get to this material that I am seeking. If you're charging this type of money, go the fuck out there and hire somebody to do the job. I mean, but I really wouldn't do that if I was you. How are they doing FOIAs before or public requests before and we weren't paying? How are you going to sit here and say that something took you more than 2 hours? Each request, we get 2 hours. How can you sit here and tell me that for you to go and locate a piece of paper and for you to, like, I don't know, put it through some PDF fucking reader and upload it and send it to me took more than 15 minutes? How could you say that it took more than 30 minutes? How can you literally sit there and say that I'm going to pay for anything? Because if it didn't take you more, I mean, why are you charging me for that? That's what you're getting paid to do. Because that's part of the job description. You guys, that would be like me having my like members only, right? And I go post member only videos and I only give you guys 10 minutes of them. And if you want to see the rest of your hour long member only video, you have to pay me 50 fucking bucks per person out there. And then I'll let you do the next 50 minutes. You'd be like, what the fuck? I'm paying my members fee so that I could get this, right? Yeah, so this is just my new rule. And let me tell you, then I also went through the video and I just like started just like, I don't know, saying beep, 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 beep all throughout it. I could tell you that I wouldn't fucking have any members, right? Transparency is very important in the government for the people to believe in the government and vice versa. Okay. If Brian Colbert is the man, woo, and you didn't violate our rights, and that Ashley Jennings wasn't lying and Bill Thompson wasn't lying, and all the fucking things are just, these people are so crazy out here on the internet, these fucking conspiracy theorists, blah, blah, whatever the hell you want to say. Put the shit out there. Put it out there. What's so, oh, that's right. You guys afraid of some jobs on the line? You guys, are we all afraid to admit that, yep, our rights were totally fucking violated? We have police officers writing up reports in this case after the plea deal by a month and a half. Answer never saw a report that was wrote up in August of 2025. And a huge one at that, Chris Ingles' report, where that report is off the fucking wall. Okay. Payne hit up all these other agencies asking for their shit, because Bill Thompson was asking for it, because then they had to get it on over because it's like part of discovery and we have to put it into the case because like that's what we have to do to please Hippler. And so it's all perfectly like with the Latah County Prosecutor's Office, and there's multiple copies of it because there's a working copy, then we had to give it over here, blah, blah. And you guys think that somebody just right after the plea deal walked into these people's offices and just took the discovery and just started throwing it around like a huge room and then looked around and said, all right, guys, see you later. I mean, you would think that these people are going, oh my God, we have no idea where this shit is. God, I have to find that. God, I'm going to have to find that. Find what? This. We're not asking for something that isn't not this. All this shit is known because we're getting the information from reading your stupid fucking reports. We're not asking for things that wouldn't be written in a report that's leading us somewhere. Or that, hey, we just want the audio copy of the report because we don't trust the fucking cops and their writing. I want to hear it for myself. But then I go to listen to, I don't know, who was it? All these people's interviews. And now you want me to play fucking, hey, what could that, guess a word? You want me to play Wheel of Fortune over here? You want me to play, yeah, blank, blank. What does this mean? What? Like blankety blank says blah, 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 and yada, yada, on someone's ass. And this person's just, taking fucking Adderall or is it cocaine or fucking, I don't know. Maybe it's just Tylenol PMs. Maybe somebody's just taking the pill. I don't know. Maybe those are condoms over there. I mean, what the fuck?
Laid out his criminal scheme. This conversation was preserved in a secret recording that Berukowitz kept in his personal residence and outside of any official police case file, before Berukowitz even had a single piece of information indicating that.
And also, do they think that we're stupid? I'm not stupid. Turtle Boy, he's one fucking dumbass. Like, I never realized how dumb Turtle Boy is. Holy fuck dumb. But I'm not stupid. And I'm not gonna, like, I'm not stupid, and I don't treat my followers and whoever watches my shit, I don't talk, like, you're not stupid. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. But Moscow thinks that we're fucking dumb. But we're not. We're not dumb. And I keep writing them this shit just like, all right, man. Hey, yep, keep sending it in, keep it up, yep, keep on responding. All I'm doing is creating a nice big old paper trail here. I love CVS receipts. In fact, I was reading on how I have to go about this so well. Okay. And the number one thing it says to do about building a case like this is document. It's like, oh my God, duh. Because that's what, like, the courts tell you to do with, like, everything. Document. So let's go to this part right here. The custodian shall make no inquiry of any person who requests a public record except to verify the identity of the requester in accordance with section 74-113 Idaho Code, or to ensure that the requester record or information will not be used for purposes of a mailing or telephone list prohibited by section 74-120. Well, guess what? Why the fuck are you making me fill something out where I have to put in all of my information in order for my request to go through? It used to not be like that. If you don't fill out every section of that shit now, according to Moscow, you're not even getting in. So I'm just marking down like what I think is all fucked about this. That's why I'm over here like, give me the list of every single person. And I want to know what they've requested. Because if you don't know what I'm claiming that they're doing is I think people are purposely creating accounts and writing in requests to keep these fucking idiots in Idaho busy. And they act like they're doing something, but then they just claim that, oh, the person didn't pay for their FOIA. Okay, now I can go on to the next person. Because that's, I think, how they're doing this, which is absolutely fucking the most illogical shit I've ever fucking heard of. But hey, they would be the reason that your mail would take maybe like 3 weeks to get to you. They're still living in the 1990s, I guess. So, okay, ready for this? The actual labor associated with responding to a request for public records in compliance with the provisions of this chapter exceeds 2 hours, You got to go over 2 hours to be able to charge me. Okay. A public agency or public official may establish a copying fee schedule. You guys, there is no, like, what are you talking about copying? Okay. Then they're handing out links that are expiring after 5 fucking days. All right. So I have a lot to say about this. These expiring shitty ass links that, if God forbid, if I think that I downloaded something and it's not there, oh, I can't go back and get my link. Nope. You download it once, it's gone. That's it. Who the fuck do these people think they are? So is that a copy? Did they give me a copy? No, they gave me a link, right? We'll get technical. Let's play. So I want I want a copy of it. For providing a duplicate of a computer tape, computer disc, microfilm, or similar or whatever record system containing public record information, a public agency or a public official may charge a fee, uniform to all persons, that does not exceed the sum of the following: the agency's direct cost of copying the information in that form, the standard cost, if any, for selling the same information in the form of a publication. And then 3, the agency's cost of conversions or the cost of charge by a third party if the existing electronic record is converted to another electronic form. Fees shall not exceed reasonable labor costs. You think that it's reasonable to charge me because you want to have special precautions to go through whatever it is that you want to go through? You think that you're going to charge me, and it's reasonable to charge us, I don't know, $200 an hour for a lawyer to watch a dash cam for 4 fucking hours? Why would ever a lawyer do that? That's not the lawyer's job. Why are you going and grabbing the town Mia Batista? Okay. Why are you going and grabbing this broad, okay, who clearly was hitting up WSU saying, hey, before you put out any information on Brian Kober, can you please contact us first? Are you fucking kidding me? Why? Why are we contacting you first? Those aren't your public records, man. I'm going to fuck them up in the courtroom. Not me. But any lawyer that's going to sit there and I'm going to say, argue this shit. And I want the guy that couldn't talk and couldn't form sentences, I want to go up against him for the city, the guy that went up with Maddie's mom and her lawyers. I want to go up against him. So put him talking about this. Okay, thanks. So that's my request. Fees shall not exceed reasonable labor costs necessarily incurred in responding to a public records request. Fees, if charged, shall reflect the personnel and quantity of time that are reasonably necessary to process a request. It is not fucking reasonable nor necessary for a lawyer to be doing the public requests. That's not reasonable to me. Fees for labor costs shall be charged at the per hour pay rate of the lowest paid administrative staff, employee, or public official of the public agency who is necessary and qualified to process the request. Explain to me why it would be necessary. Okay? Why would it be necessary for a lawyer? For a lawyer. I don't care if you want to get the lawyer to do the job and charge me at the rate that it would be for, I don't know, the janitor. Fine. But I don't understand why a lawyer would be doing the public requests. I don't know how an interview If a bicycle was stolen, you guys, a bicycle. If a bicycle was stolen on the university's campus, and they're like, we got to find this fucking bike, man, because that bike has a bunch of cocaine in it. How would those interviews associated with that bicycle and cocaine be any different in that case than this case? Why wasn't a lawyer on it, I don't know, two years ago when they were just passing stuff out like normal? If a request requires redactions to be made by an attorney who is employed by the public agency, the rate charged shall be no more than the per hour rate of the lowest paid attorney within the public agency who is necessary and qualified to process the public records request. Explain to me how you determine which would be that a lawyer needs to do. How are you making that judgment call? Hey, you know what? This one needs a lawyer. But this one here, this one doesn't. Who's making that judgment call? How is it taking 8 hours? 8 hours to literally go through a 15-minute video. Think about what I'm telling you guys. You guys just watched the Lyndon Backer interview. What was it? 10 minutes? 15 minutes? How in the world does that take more than 30 minutes? How? Are you watching it on like -5 speed? What are we redacting? That's the issue. The issue is that you are redacting things that are not supposed to be redacted. Otherwise, it would take you 15 minutes. So let's get this straight. These people are sitting down and listening, right, to these entire. So when you hear something, are there trigger words? Are we using AI to do this? What words are you redacting, and why are you redacting them? And where's my list to say that at this minute mark, this is redacted because it's blank, blank, blank? I haven't gotten one of those yet, of that, what we received and why it was redacted at a certain point and what it fell under. You know that you have to do that. How is the word Sigma Chi being redacted? For what purpose? What's the privacy there? You're saying that the fact that Sigma Chi had a party during the night that somebody was murdered, there was privacy there? If I said that I was at my home the night of a murder. Okay, where's your home at? My home's at, and then you redact the address, right? You don't redact that I said home, bitch. How are you redacting me saying the word home? That's laughable, right? I mean, we all know it's laughable, right? And here's mainstream media. Let's send Brian Enton to go fucking, I don't know, travel to some other city or town to talk about God knows what. Meanwhile, his ass was literally morning and night up in Idaho, up in Moscow. Morning and night, Brian Enton running around, fucking chasing people. Him and JLR, okay? Brian Enton clearly didn't give a fuck about this case because You don't know anything about it. You didn't get any information. There wasn't a trial, and you don't care. Because if you cared and you say you care about the victims, then maybe you would go and get the information, because that's what investigative journalism is all about is, hey, here's the government. Hey, making sure that you guys. Unbelievable. Hey guys, guess what? I was at BW3's hanging out at, and then I went to John's Alley, and then I went to Mingles. Wait, you think that we get to redact Mingles, John Alley, and BW3? Why? What privacy interest does anybody have in that? I want to hear these arguments. I want to hear how you can sit there and say that it's taking you 8 hours to literally go through a video that is 10 minutes in length, or even if it's an hour, 4 hours. Like, what are you doing? Are you taking shits every 15 minutes? I want to hear these arguments. You guys, these are the same people that refuse to be honest when 4 victims were murdered to the parents. That's who we're dealing with. So if they're going to lie to 4 parents, 4 sets of parents, 8, depending on the divorced families, okay? They had no problem lying to these people. None whatsoever. Lied up and down. So much so that they got the parties to all not get along, and so that Bill Thompson get his way and ultimately get his plea deal. That's who we're dealing with. We are dealing with people that don't play by the book, okay? So if you think that, God, why does she care? Why do I care? Why do I care? Because it's not just Moscow that this is happening. It's happening all over. And here, this happened to be the case that I was covering. So that's why I fucking care. And I know that all of you guys care, because that's why you're here. And so we're going to go get the shit. And we're going to make I don't care if we lose. We're going to make them prove that what they're doing is right. Prove that what you're doing is right. Because I'm telling you right now, it's not. It's not right. Because what you're putting out there is not transparency. What you're putting out there is fucking games, reindeer games. And I'm not playing reindeer games. I don't have fucking time for it. And there's a reason that all of the families are suing WSU, and I'm fucking here for it. And you know what? If they need, hopefully they wouldn't need it, but if they needed money for fucking experts, shit, I'd fucking give me a link. I will share it on every single one of my motherfucking lives. And every day, if you have $1 that you can donate, imagine what that will total up to at the end. They want to hide stuff. They want to think that they got more money. These are government entities. I'm tired of I'm tired of watching the wrong people be protected. We, the people, should be protected. That's what should be happening. And just if we, the people, stick together, listen, we don't need money to do this. We just need brain power. Okay? There's a lot of people that created YouTube channels that are fucking lawyers out there. All right? We don't need you to oral argue. How about you just help out? And hey, this is how you would go about it to be, or take a couple conference calls. All right? Do some good deed. Here you go. Yes, they are basically sending out their Mad Libs reports, and we are supposed to fill in the blanks. I don't think so. Absolutely, Dawn. Absolutely. And we're gonna apply the pressure. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to change anything until, and they know this game, until they are forced to change. And that's why we're gonna put in an injunction. We're going in, we're putting an injunction, and we're going to do what they did in Norfolk County, and they made Bev Canone sign off, and that's why those sidebars are coming out hot. We're gonna put an injunction. You're not gonna pass out this fucking shit that you're passing out, and no one's. And if anybody in the media tries to spin this like I'm trying to get fucking dead bodies and pictures of students, fucking I will go to war with anybody that says that this channel is trying to do that. Bring your fucking ass to my fucking channel. Here's the link, and I dare you to defame me. I am doing what you, mainstream media, don't have the fucking balls, you never do, to fucking do. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing something for we the people. You keep doing something for we fucking daddy over there, whoever's running the media over there, which I know, but I'm not going to get political because I don't get political. So bring your ass the fuck up over here. Let's debate. This is sick. We're literally not having criminal trials to protect who? Not the goddamn defendants. We're literally giving plea deals away to protect fucking attorneys, to protect prosecutors, to protect police officers, to not let people be embarrassed. Or, hey, guess what? If this all comes out, then all of the cases that fucking person worked on, come on out, appeals for days. That's what we're protecting. And this has nothing to do about Brian Colbert. I don't give a fuck about Brian Colbert. This has nothing to do with him. This has to do with we the people. We have a right to know what the hell you did in this case. You hit it the whole fucking way, and you said, hey, this can all come out, after trial. I mean, I'm reading these documents, and all while the prosecutors wanted to seal stuff. You guys, you wanted to say that so that the defendant could have a fair trial. There is no fucking trial. Give me the material. Period. And if you don't want to give me the material, I want you to have to say it to the whole entire world why you think that we don't deserve transparency. That's what I'm going to make you do. You're going to tell all those parents that lost their children. You're going to tell all the families of those kids that lost their lives and their parents that were lied to. They can all watch you guys continue to lie for the liars. Let's go. I'm not going anywhere. This channel isn't going anywhere. We're really good at what we do. We're smart about how we do things. And let's do it. Come on. Let's fucking dance, baby. I'm ready to dance.
That VEA or Evans had engaged in criminal activity, and he never found any. He was already planning to gain access to VEA's records to find something, quote, criminal. This plan followed a familiar blueprint Berukowitz had used previously to corruptly influence an election for Nye County Sheriff in favor of his preferred candidate. As Berukowitz explained to Johnson during the February 15th meeting at the park, once the candidate for sheriff was arrested for allegedly stealing a campaign sign, it was his, quote, kiss of fate. Berukowitz also told Johnson his office could make great video press releases to influence the VEA recall petition, just as they had done to influence the Nye County Sheriff's election previously. Berukowitz met again with Johnson a few days later on February 21st, and their plan began to take shape. Berukowitz told Johnson about an impromptu private conversation he had with a local TV producer right after he had been interviewed by a reporter about the recall. In that televised interview, he criticized Angela Evans and the board for raising rates, claiming the membership had been lied to. Immediately after giving that interview, Berukowitz spoke with a TV producer who mused that VEA had to raise its rates because it paid large sums of money to cover up internal complaints about a sexual relationship between the former CEO and another VEA employee. He said nothing that implicated Evans and offered no proof of those unsubstantiated rumors. During this second secret meeting with Johnson, Johnson began to spin a story that Evans must have been promoted to CEO in order to cover up the allegations, since that would be the only reason to promote her over him. And that was all that Berukowitz needed. He told Johnson that he was going to get a search warrant and ask what documents he should include in the scope of the warrant. So from that meeting onward, Berukowitz focused on leveling criminal allegations.
Why are we acting like Molly McMichael only had one interview? Why does Moscow believe or think that because the FBI had an interview with somebody, the FBI was a branch? This is not jurisdiction, is not the FBI's jurisdiction. The FBI will give over every fucking thing in this case because we're going to make them. The FBI was an extension of the Moscow Police Department, the local police department, those puny feds that got caught, like Nick Balance being a liar, and having to make stuff up because God forbid them have to tell the real reason as to how they really came to Brian Kober. I mean, it can't possibly have anything to do with the drugs in that town, right? Because no one's going to send their kids to that fucking school. Okay? Nobody can know about any of the drugs. Laughable. We can't have it come out that all of our cops have like fake Facebook accounts that look like females that are hot with big tits, so that they're out there acting like they want to buy cocaine or meth or heroin or whatever the fuck they buy off of a guy that's on a skateboard. Yeah, we're really taking them down, Idaho. There's more criminals in a fucking courtroom than the guy that's sitting at the fucking defense table, I'll tell you that. That's when you know there's a problem.
Against then CEO Angela Evans. After his meeting with Johnson, he drafted a search warrant affidavit for a record search of VEA. The first search warrant attempted to transform the workplace gossip he had heard from the TV producer into evidence of a criminal violation involving Evans. His affidavit told the judge that sheriff's office employees were told by prior Valley Electric employees that Angela Evans had, quote, received substantial payment and was involved in the handling of payments to suppress complaints of sexual misconduct at VEA. Completely missing from that affidavit was any context. There was no mention of the gossip he heard from the TV producer about a workplace love affair that did not involve Evans, or that this topic came up during a conversation after a television interview where Berukowitz leveled criticism at VEA and Evans about rate increases. Also missing was any mention that Johnson, a supposed source of this information, had been secretly recorded, or that during the recording, Johnson reasoned that Evans was involved in a cover-up because she was promoted to CEO and he was not. Instead, the affidavit left the false impression that law enforcement officers were gathering information in interviews conducted as part of a legitimate criminal investigation into a sex crime cover-up at VEA. Berukowitz kept his name off the affidavit entirely and brought in another officer to present it late that night at the home of the Justice of the Peace, who reluctantly approved it. The next morning, February 22nd.
You guys, it's exactly what they did in the Brian Kober case, okay? On some of those affidavits and those warrants, what were they doing? Hey, you're gonna put your name instead of my name. Why? When I saw that when I was watching this, I was like, dude, they did the same thing in the Kober case. It wasn't your work that went and obtained this. And that's why Ansel, like, let's listen to the search warrants. Okay, let's listen to the audio of it. And wait, did you write this up? But yet it says that it's you and it's your signing, but it says your name. And crazy, right? And like anywhere else, this is like a huge problem. Huge problem. Listen.
Berukowitz showed up at VEA with more than a dozen police officers.
Can
I see the warrant?
Yes. Your name is?
I'm Angela Evans. I'm CEO.
Come on in. Find a seat, folks.
Is that the?
That's the warrant.
You need everybody in the building, please. Yeah. That's it. I'm going to explain real quick to these guys just so everyone knows what's happening.
And our objective is not to impact your business at all.
While an advance team took what they referred to as B-roll footage of Nye County Sheriff's Office vehicles rolling into the VEA parking lot, and officers then descending upon the VEA headquarters building.
You guys, they faked.
Today, just after 8:30 a.m., Nye County Sheriff's Office detectives and deputies executed a search warrant on Valley Electric Association in Pahrump for administrative and financial records. The warrant stems from an investigation into allegations that former CEO Tom Husted had sexually harassed a female employee and that Valley Electric key management employees were paid in exchange for not disclosing the sexual misconduct. Allegations include VEA cooperative monies were used as hush money to paid employees and former employees to ensure the sexual misconduct was covered up. It is suspected that the financial payouts may have contributed to the recent announced Valley Electric rate hikes. Additionally, the investigation revealed allegations that these employees signed non-disclosure agreements and were paid substantial amounts of money and provided additional unknown benefits. There will not be any disruption of service to Valley Electric members as a result of the search warrant after a short 1 or 2 hour closure of the administrative offices. This is an ongoing investigation. Investigators are processing copious amounts of evidence. As a result, no further information will be released at this time. The Nye County Sheriff's Office staff is asking anyone with information regarding these allegations to contact detectives. Although many people may have signed the non-disclosure agreements, this has now become a criminal investigation. And as a witness in criminal proceedings, you are entitled to protection pursuant to law. Please contact detectives at 775-751-7000 or by email at sheriff@co.nye.nv.us. The Nye County Sheriff will release an additional update on March 10th, 2019. A follow-up press conference will be held on March 22nd, 2019. The time and location of the press conference will be announced.
Now check this out. This is wild.
The search generated terabytes of data that was never even searched or analyzed. It also generated a lot of press coverage, complete with the Nye County Sheriff's Office provided B-roll images of them rolling in. Over the next few days, VEA and the Nye County Sheriff's Office fired off a series of dueling press releases, with the VEA claiming it was the victim of an illegal search and the Nye County Sheriff's Office claiming it was conducting a legitimate embezzlement investigation.
Although the Nye County Sheriff's Office did not intend to release any additional information until next week, Valley Electric has released 2 press releases riddled with dishonest statements, and the Nye County Sheriff's Office is answering the media's request for rebuttal. On February 22, 2019, Nye County Sheriff's Office staff executed a search warrant at Valley Electric in Pahrump. The Nye County Sheriff's Office will be responding to each of Valley Electric Association's claims. As previously stated, the search warrant began at 8:32 and at 9:28 the front office was reopened, nowhere near 2 hours.
Can
I see the warrant?
Yes. Your name is?
I'm Angela Evans. I'm the CEO.
Come on in. Find a seat, folks.
VEA Board of Directors released their own press release in which they repeated several of the false statements presented by the Valley Electric press release. VEA Board of Directors release stated that the search warrant was unnecessary and likely unlawful search. This is a bizarre statement. The Nye County Sheriff's Office insists that when there is an allegation that the CEO and Board of Directors of Valley Electric is improperly using funds to cover up misconduct, the investigation and subsequent search is absolutely necessary. The warrant was presented to a judge, and the judge found probable cause and signed the warrant, making it a lawful search. As you can see from the body camera footage, none of the individuals gathered in the conference room were restrained. The VEA Board of Directors refers to the Nye County Sheriff's Office search as media-obsessed environment in which the Nye County Sheriff's Department operates on a daily basis, and referred to this as a publicity stunt. The Nye County Sheriff believes in transparency. The Sheriff's Office press release was done to respond to media questions as the public wanted to know what was happening. The sheriff's office considers allegations of this nature to be severe and certainly does not take lightly the potential for misuse of cooperative funds. The name-calling characterization by the board against the sheriff's office in this release is a response that the sheriff and her staff are used to seeing from individuals who are the subject of a criminal investigation.
It was against this backdrop that Johnson sent an email on the evening of February 25th to the Nye County Sheriff's Office reporting that he received an anonymous tip that Evans had work done at her house back in April of 2018 at a cost of $89,000 that was paid by VEA funds. He then texted Berukowitz to tell him that the board of directors was meeting the next morning and it would be, quote, dramatic if he could make an arrest at that time. So Berukowitz drafted a second search warrant seeking to obtain records at VEA. This affidavit said that during the sex crime cover-up investigation, an unnamed street source told Berukowitz that Evans had $89,000 worth of work at her house to move her power lines underground and build them to Valley Electric. The affidavit said that an investigator interviewed an employee who confirmed the work was done at Evans's house and that customers usually paid for this work. The affidavit said another unnamed street source provided printouts of the two work orders. The affidavit attached images of the printouts and said that another detective observed that Evans's property is the only residence on that block that does not have power lines running across the back easement. Missing from the affidavit was the fact that the street source who initiated the allegations was actually Johnson, and omitted any information about Johnson's prior work relationship to Evans and VEA. Also missing was the fact that the interviewed employee told the detective that no power lines were buried on the property. Rather, he had moved the pole and a guy wire that protruded into the yard and had heard of no misconduct at VEA. Also missing was the fact that the second so-called street source who provided the work orders was Berukowitz's close friend who worked in a line shed at VEA and had done no work at Evans's house. Berukowitz obtained the second search warrant in the late afternoon of February 26th, swearing out the affidavit before the same judge who had approved the first search warrant. He then went to VEA to conduct the record search as provided in the warrant. When he arrived at VEA, Berukowitz spoke with Angela Evans and asked her whether she had any power lines buried on her property that were paid for by VEA. She denied the allegation and said that prior to her purchase of the house, she facilitated a discussion between the contractor and VEA about moving a pole and a guy wire from the property she was interested in purchasing, so that a wall could be built. She said it was likely paid for by the contractor and that she probably paid for it when closing on the property. During the search, the records custodians told Berukowitz they did not have records as described in the warrant, but that they had records showing that a pole and a guy wire had been moved from the Evans property in April 2018. Around 5:30 p.m., the records custodians printed out the documents they found and handed them to Berukowitz, who said that he and his officers were done with the search and were leaving the property to go home, commenting that it was the end of the workday. The CFO began to escort Berukowitz and his team from the building when Berukowitz altered his path of exit to go down a hall to where the VEA private offices were located, prompting the CFO to say, "You've taken a wrong turn." As Berukowitz walked down the hallway, he observed that Evans was still there, working in her private office. Rather than asking to speak with Evans as he had done when he entered the building, Berukowitz asked the CFO if he and his officers could stop and use a private office for a moment. The CFO said yes. The officers then went into an adjacent office where Berukowitz told the officers that they had developed probable cause for an arrest. Berukowitz then emerged from the office and walked down the private hallway to Evans's office, where around 5:40 p.m. and without a warrant, he barged into Angela Evans's office, passing the CFO who stood in the doorway. "One last thing, Angela. You're under arrest for embezzlement." He then began reciting Miranda warnings, the arrest being fully captured on body cam. After being handcuffed, officers perp-walked Evans from her office through the building in front of VEA employees and into a parking lot. There, while still in handcuffs, she was publicly frisked in front of cars driving by, put into the caged backseat of the squad car, and taken to the Nye County Sheriff's Office detention facility. There, she was booked, photographed, and jailed. The body cam footage and images of Angela Evans being cuffed and booked were incorporated into a video press release that Berukowitz orchestrated and posted on the internet that evening. The release was an elaborate video storyboard featuring snippets from body cam recordings of the arrest and B-roll of the VEA search from search warrant number 1.
This is fucking crazy.
The Nye County Sheriff's Office is currently investigating allegations that embezzlement is occurring at Valley Electric by CEO Angela Evans and Valley Electric board members. The allegations include that they spent VEA monies to pay off key management employees to keep quiet a sexual harassment misconduct incident that occurred by then CEO Thomas Husted. During the course of this investigation, a source came to the Nye County Sheriff's Office investigators and advised that CEO Angela Evans had Valley Electric do approximately $89,000 worth of work at her home to move her power lines underground.
Dude, this is like Molly coming forward and giving information, and they know it's dog dick, horrible information, but let's go with it.
It is alleged that she billed the work to Valley Electric. The source advised that the work was done in April of 2018 and was able to provide work order information and names of Valley Electric employees who knew of the work being done. Nye County Sheriff's Office investigators interviewed a Valley Electric employee who confirmed that the work was done, but was unable to confirm how the work was paid for. A check of public records revealed an address of a home owned by Angela Evans in the winery area of Pahrump. Nye County Sheriff's Office investigators went to the property on February 26th and took photographs. Her property is the only residence on the block that does not have power lines along the back easement of the property. The Nye County Sheriff's Office executed a second search warrant at Valley Electric on February 26, 2019. The warrant requested electronic records of any and all work orders for CEO Angela Evans' residence. After execution of the search warrant, the records identified that the cost of the work, valued at approximately $75,000, was not paid for by Angela Evans, but was billed to the Valley Electric Cooperative. CEO Angela Evans was placed under arrest. She was booked into the Nye County Detention Center and charged with embezzlement.
What the fuck? This is Tina with what the fuck.
After the false arrest of Angela Evans, Berukowitz filed a declaration that contained his probable cause statement for the arrest. The declaration mirrors the allegations in search warrant number 2 in all material respects. As with search warrant number 2, the declaration asserted that Angela Evans had VEA bury power lines on her property, which she then billed to VEA. He attributed this information in both documents to a, quote, street source. As with search warrant number 2, Berukowitz purposefully concealed his co-conspirator, Johnson, as the source of the information, referring to him anonymously as a, quote, street source. By concealing Johnson's identity as this street source in his known bias, Berukowitz purposefully misled the judge as to the credibility of the affiant and the person bringing the allegations of criminal misconduct. The misdirection did not stop there, however. Berukowitz intentionally omitted from his declaration any reference to the fact that his investigators had been specifically informed that no power lines were actually buried in Evans's backyard and that VEA record custodians told him the same thing during their search. During that search, Berukowitz learned the information contained in his search warrant affidavit was not correct, that no power lines had been buried at the CEO's residence in April of 2018, and that guy wires and a pole had been moved. And even after being told all that, Berukowitz just immediately arrested Angela Evans without a warrant. The most insidious thing here was that all this was done for the sake of publicity. Johnson and Berukowitz then coordinated with each other to roll out the news of the Evans arrest. Johnson texted Berukowitz, "Let me know if the arrest happens. I'll tip Channel 8." At 6:51 p.m., Johnson...
I'll tip Channel 8. You guys see right there, cops in the media. Cops in the media. I'll tip Channel 8. You guys are probably all wondering, why is Lana showing all this? Why does Lana care about this? Because this is just the recipe. I'm showing you that it is legit. Okay, this video is from just 4 months ago. What happened in the Idaho4 case? There's a leak. Who the fuck is it? These idiots. Bill Thompson's telling the family that it's not the prosecution, but it's the defense. Yeah, because the defense attorney's going to email with when they're not even on the case yet, because there's not a defendant yet. But hey, yep, I'm going to start leaking. No, Dateline had stuff before there was ever arrest. There was leaks before there was ever an arrest, okay? And in fact, it was Steve Gonsalves that went ham, and so did his lawyer went ham on Bill Thompson saying, you have a leak in the prosecution office. I'll tip Channel 8, just like I'll tip News Nation. I'll tip the. Why do you think, what's his name? Why do you think Brian Enton was hanging out in Moscow and staying there morning and night? You can report from here because he was getting things. He was getting things. You wouldn't stay there if you weren't. And whoever's hanging around there the most, yeah, they're getting stuff.
Told Brukowitz that he had triggered the media. Channel 8 is on the way, going to interview for reaction. About a minute later, Brukowitz responded, she just called me, and yeah, sounds great. At 9:26 p.m., Brukowitz issued the press release that I played earlier. At 9:27 p.m., Brukowitz informed Johnson that the Nye County Sheriff's Office had launched the narrative. It's out, he said. Johnson then interviewed with Channel 8. The Channel 8 News at 11 picked up.
Johnson interviewed with them. Johnson is the fucking street source.
On Brukowitz's press release that evening, featuring it as their lead story. It basically repeated Brukowitz's press release. As promised, Johnson was interviewed where he said this.
On Friday, the Nye County Sheriff's Department raids the VEA facility with a search warrant. 24 hours later, there's an arrogant denial of how in the world could you say anything is going on. They didn't take it seriously. They didn't initiate their own internal investigation. And then we get this tonight, and it shows a clear failure on the part of the board to do their duty for the members.
This, of course, comes amid a sexual harassment allegation lodged against the company. Police suspect some within the company were paying off management to keep quiet about a sexual misconduct incident that allegedly involved the former CEO here, Thomas Husted. Evans has been charged with embezzlement. She is expected to post bail, and it is still unclear who knew about the alleged work at her home. Christiane?
Johnson and Brukowitz thereafter continued to work together on their scheme to recall the board of directors after the arrest. Brukowitz told Johnson that the sheriff's office had referred the embezzlement charges to the Nye County District Attorney. In the meantime, VEA placed Angela Evans on administrative leave and initiated an internal investigation to review whether she had embezzled any services from VEA. Johnson heard of this and became concerned that Evans would keep her job. Brukowitz assured Johnson that he was developing information that would result in embezzlement charges against Evans. Board members began to resign in the aftermath, result in embezzlement charges against.
There will definitely be charges. DA just wants me to tie a few things up. This interview, final one, then they are going to charge. Look at this shit. Look at this hot babe Johnson home. So just for my / Ken's knowledge, will there be no charges then? Wondering if VEA will put her back to work. Look at these sick fucks. Dave Berkowitz, sheriff, sure, up in front of that. Then hot babe Johnson home. Okay, got it. Thanks. That meeting was sheer insanity, beyond absurd. These people, this is absolutely fucking crazy. But it happens every single day.
Evans.
This is like Nick Balance and Payne acting like they don't know each other. And Taylor's like, you want to read that again?
Board members began to resign in the aftermath of the arrest. However, no charges were brought by the district attorney. As board members were resigning from office, Brukowitz texted to Johnson, "It's good to win. Got rid of the worst, and that was the plan. Resignations is even better than recall, called running scared. The VEA internal investigation, however, even better."
Dave, it's good to win. The sheriff says it's good to win. Got rid of the worst, and that was the plan. Resignations is even better than recall, called running scared. You know, babe, hot babe Johnson here. I may be able to leverage them to fill the seat temporarily. We'll see. Yep. Hot babe Johnson says, yeah, I'm getting that vibe too, running scared. What is there to hide from? There is much more to this, much more. And the public comments are interesting. The members are seeing right through this. Dude, are these people insane? They just created this whole thing and they act like there's so much more to this. Dude, this is when you believe your own lies. It's called Delulu University, and this is Tina with What the Fuck Translation Services. Last night, I was mesmerized by over 7 hours worth of Delulu University, and I literally woke up this morning and I said to myself, thank you, Lord. Thank you for choosing me to have a brain. Like, I couldn't imagine. I just thank you, God. I'm thankful.
Then recall, called Running Scared. The VEA internal investigation, however, found that Evans had not embezzled any services from VEA. Nevertheless, in July, the VEA board announced that it was firing Evans despite the findings of its own internal investigation. The board told Evans that her arrest had caused VEA membership to lose trust in her, and the board believed that trust could not be
So guess what I'm going to go for? This gave me the idea that I want all of the IM interactions during the time of the FOIA's beginning until now. And I want to see the communications that all of these people were having about FOIAs, about public requests. I want to hear these people writing each other back and forth, talking about how they should go about these public requests. Let's go. You want to fuck? We'll fuck, right? Let's fuck. Let's all fuck.
instilled.
When I first listened to this, I was like thinking it was the VA. And I was like half asleep, and I was like in the middle of a rabbit hole trying to because I was doing research on how we can go about getting what we need. Like, just give us the material.
Notwithstanding the internal investigation, when Johnson informed Berukowitz of the firing, he texted in response, "Winner, winner, chicken dinner." No recall election ever occurred. Johnson and Berukowitz ended their involvement in the scheme around the end of September 2019. In November of 2019, the district attorney's office announced that it formally declined any prosecution of embezzlement charges against Evans. This prompted the Nye County Sheriff's Office to issue yet another press release on the topic, proclaiming that a declination by the DA did not mean that Evans was innocent.
The Sheriff's Office has been asked for a comment regarding the Nye County District Attorney choosing not to file charges against Angela Evans. The Nye County Sheriff's Office conducts investigations, makes arrests based on probable cause, and submits the case to the District Attorney for prosecution. We operate separately from them. In the case of Angela Evans, she was arrested based on probable cause after a review of the evidence against her. A judge found that they agreed there was probable cause on February 27th. Whether the district attorney files charges against a person is completely within the discretion of the district attorney, and a failure to file charges does not necessarily mean that the person did not commit the crime or that they have been cleared of their wrongdoing.
What?
All it means is that the district attorney did not file charges. Although this case has increased public awareness, it is not an isolated incident where the district attorney does not file charges on the criminal case.
Oh my God.
The Nye County Sheriff's Office receives dozens of denials for prosecution from the Nye County District Attorney's Office every week. Mr. Arabia's decision to not prosecute Angela Evans is his decision and has nothing to do with the Nye County Sheriff's Office or the court who approved the warrant and found probable cause.
Oh my God, these people are sick. Dude, this is insane. Like, fuck this town.
So after all of this, how did Berukowitz end up getting caught? In some of the legal filings, I found as an exhibit an unclassified report from the FBI, mostly all redacted, but it shows
Mostly all redacted.
that on January 24th of 2022, somebody from the Las Vegas branch of the FBI opened
Las Vegas, Reno. That's where Bethany is.
a public corruption investigation into Captain David Berukowitz. Most of it is redacted, but it seems like the civil lawsuit that Angela Evans subsequently
There we go, baby. Civil lawsuits bring shit out. Let's do it.
filed against Nye County and David Berukowitz likely alerted the FBI and also provided much of the substance of the investigation allegations. The report noted that the case would be investigated as a sensitive investigative matter, as Berukowitz was then holding the position of captain for the Nye County Sheriff's Office, where he was in charge of the day-to-day operations, and also where recently they learned that Berukowitz was named special assistant to the sheriff due to her deteriorating health. They noted that it was rumored that Berukowitz was working to appoint a close associate as the captain. Next thing you know, August 4th of 2022, this bizarre video appears on Nye County's YouTube channel and their Facebook page, where Berukowitz himself announces that they were served with a warrant from the FBI.
The Nye County Sheriff's Office can confirm that the FBI executed a search warrant on our agency yesterday. Although a warrant was not necessary because Sheriff Sharon Worley has always turned over records to the FBI upon request, upon their presentation of the warrant, all records requested were turned over. The affidavit for the warrant was sealed, and since the FBI is the investigating agency for the warrant, all questions relating to that investigation would need to be directed to the FBI, and no further comment will come from this office.
These people are insane.
Then on August 18th of 2023, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Nevada issues a press release titled Nye County Captain Indicted for Federal Violations, announcing that Captain Berukowitz had appeared in federal court on that day.
It says Captain David E. Berkowitz, 42, a deputy sheriff with the Nye County Sheriff's Office, appeared in federal court today following his arrest on federal wire fraud, perjury, and civil rights violations arising from the February 2019 false arrest of the former CEO of Valley Electric Association, VEA. Oh my God. Dude, for what? Why? Can you believe Moscow going down for over fucking FOIA requests? Why? Because they wouldn't give up fucking public records. They were just redacting the word the, we, it, maybe. Party, the treehouse. I mean, fuck.
After being arrested on federal wire fraud, perjury, and civil rights violations arising from the February 2019 false arrest of former CEO VEA, Angela Evans. The press release noted that the indictment alleged that Berukowitz committed federal wire fraud when he caused each of those press releases to be issued from the Nye County Sheriff's Office. Lastly, it noted the indictment charged Berukowitz with perjury for falsely testifying during a federal civil deposition about his knowledge and level of involvement in the circumstances surrounding the arrest. On March 12th of 2025, another press release was issued informing the public that Berukowitz had now pled guilty to a federal civil rights violation and to wire fraud, and that he was scheduled to be sentenced on June 10th, 2025, and was facing a potential 21 years in prison. But shockingly, when that day came, he ended up getting sentenced to only 3 years probation and 0 days in federal prison.
No prison time for David Berukowitz, who was
You want to know why? Because he fucking flipped. Motherfucker sold out people. He had to. There is no way he's going to. 21 years? Okay, we'll give you 3 months probation. Why? Because he touched his fucking toes. Okay?
sentenced today after unlawfully arresting a utility company CEO in Pahrump. 8 News Now investigator Kyle Payne has more on this day-long sentencing.
Brian, Denise, no prison time and 3 years probation for former police captain David Berukowitz in federal court at 9:30 this morning. And it took an entire day in front of the judge until he learned his sentence.
By pleading guilty, Berukowitz avoided a perjury charge and 2 additional charges related to wire fraud.
Berukowitz also has to pay a $35,000 fine by pleading guilty, which he did earlier this year. He avoided a perjury charge and 2 additional charges related to wire fraud. Denise.
So we can also tell you tonight that Berukowitz, meanwhile, retired from his job with Nye County last year. And the Review Journal telling us public records show he's still receiving PERS retirement benefits totaling about $72,000 a year.
And that's it. That's the end of the story. People already have such little faith in law enforcement. They constantly think that there's corruption behind the scenes. I hear it all the time. Here, not only was it true, but the FBI got involved and found all of the receipts, exposed the entire thing. And the icing on the cake is the fact that the taxpayers are now paying this guy $72,000 a year after what he had done. That was the outcome where the stars aligned and the FBI swooped in and exposed the entire thing. That was the outcome. No.
We'll see you on the next one, guys. Join me tomorrow. I'm going to flip a coin, and I want you 1,200 people. You're going to be the coin. Should we take a peek into the Brian Walsh case only just to watch and hear and see the stuff that Michael Proctor and these lieutenants engaged in? That's the only reason I would engage in watching the Brian Walsh case, is for and to hear this testimony that we would get from these troopers. So would love for you guys to comment in the video what you guys think. Also, anything that we talked about here during this video, use the comment section. At some point, you're going to have an opinion, whether you like the video, whether you don't. If thumbs it down if you don't, but just don't not do anything. So let me know what you think. Much love. Look at this. Look at this attention person. I just got to give him it to him. Hold on one second. I just got to get it. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this person. Look at this person. This is what I do on a Sunday night too, buddy. Peace out, guys. Thank you so much. Tim McGrath, Hoppy Master. Again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hopefully you and your families, friends, you guys all lived it up. Appreciate you. Shelly, only you can fire us up and make us laugh at the same time. Is that right? Yes. Boston 50 months last night. 50 months. Boston, love you. Boston supports Atlanta. Woohoo. You guys are the slam. All right. See you on the next one. Peace.